For a long time now, we've been eager to create a campaign diary to record all of the antics that we get up to in our Dungeons and Dragons sessions. So this is going to be a recap of what's happened so far. My character, Eleanor, an elven ranger, has been sent by Lord Istervel in Daggerford to go and find a group of ex-convicts who are working for him. They've been sent off to investigate what's been going on in the town of Jilcoon. I came across the group in a wooded hollow, camping out for the night. I'd spotted them a while off, and I approached carefully, but as I got closer, I noticed that it was definitely the people I was looking for. I approached the group and introduced myself, saying that I'm Eleanor. I've been sent by Lord Istervel to assist them and to check in on what's been happening in Jilcoon, that I knew who they were and I'd been travelling to find them. As I emerged from the clearing, of course, our dark elf rogue said, "I always sleep in the trees. That's where I sleep to stay hidden." My approach rolled a natural 20, first roll of the game, and immediately spotted him. The party informed me that they had been looking at these altars where red wizards had been stealing things from them. We weren't quite sure what was being stolen, but the town of Jilcoon had been enslaved by goblins and bugbears. When we went to investigate Jilcoon, we found that goblins and creatures were still inhabiting the town. We decided that we would scout around the edges and try and attack in stealth. So, me, the ranger, and our rogue, Elred, decided that we would head down the path. I, of course, rolled really well. Elred, on the other hand, did not roll well and managed to find every patch of gravel on our way down. When we got to the town, we scouted the walls and then found a small barricade which we thought we'd be able to get over. It was not easy to get over. After failing all of our rolls, falling in the mud over and over again, we managed to each push each other up. Here, our fighter, Dawn, called a war cry and ran in, taking out most of the goblins. Spending a while in the town, dealing with the enemies, finishing them off, we found a desecrated shrine to Shantir and tracks leading out of the town, showing shuffled feet marks as if they'd taken slaves. This then led us to follow the tracks up into the mountainside, where we encountered an escaped slave. He was covered in blood and gore, and he was very injured. Our dwarven priest of Kossuth, the Grass, healed him up, and we sent him on his way to head back towards Daggerford. In hindsight, that might not have been a good idea, because we encountered many bad things on the road. We should probably find out if he's okay. Anyway, we carried on and encountered this huge town which had been abandoned. Now, the runaway slave on the road had told us that this town, we should stay away from it because it's full of undead. We went up onto the hillside and found the entrance to a huge dwarven keep. We scouted around, we found some tracks, and then eventually we began to knock on the doors. No response. We went round the side and thankfully we found a secondary entrance which led to a very small passage. Once we were in this small cupboard area, our rogue rolled really well to find a hidden passage with a door off it that led us into the main keep undetected. We moved through the rooms, gradually taking on Durgar. In a pivotal fight at the end of one of our sessions, we managed to kill all the Durgar but one, who ran off invisible. Fortunately, one of our party members had a lamp that allowed us to see unseen creatures, and they used that in order to be able to detect the invisible Durgar. And then our rogue rolled a natural 20 to intimidate. We found out everything. The slaves had been taken just to distract us so the red wizards could go and find all of the parts of the altars they needed in order to perform a ritual to bring the law into our world. The next session started with a big debate. Do we leave the keep at that point and go and deal with the major problem? We'd been informed that we were only put in this place to distract us from the major issues going on elsewhere. Or do we stay and try and find the slaves? We all really agreed that we should go and deal with the bigger problem. So when we finally came to a vote, we said, I'm going to stay. We stayed on the condition that we would deal with the Durgar problem as quickly as possible, get the slaves and get out. It didn't go to plan. We immediately encountered a trap. This trap was like a huge bellows facing into another room. Our rogue investigated and couldn't quite work out what it was and decided that he wanted to try and disarm it. So we all backed out into 2 separate rooms, and he then used a dagger to cut open the bellows and release the air. Unfortunately, it was not air. It was a kind of wizard's fire that exploded, engulfing the entire room between us 2 in flames. We were then trapped. There was no way through. So we both tried to make our way round. This did not go well because the whole place was rigged with portcullises that dropped when you stepped on certain slabs. We spent the entire session just trying to get round these portcullises, running from one end to another, disarming things. The scenario ended with us attracting 2 trolls with the noise that we were making as we headed down into the keep. The first troll we dealt with easily because Zili, our sorceress, and also our cleric both used lots of fire spells, meaning that they couldn't regenerate. Unfortunately, once we'd absolutely destroyed that troll and he died in the corridor, a second troll came out. This caused a problem because both our priest of Kosov and our wild mage sorcerers are not very dexterous and could not climb over the fallen troll. The fact that our 2 spell users proficient in fire couldn't get across had a major impact on how quickly we could take the second troll out. Thankfully, we managed to deal with the problem. Unfortunately, that meant that after many hours of being trapped in portcullises, split up by fire traps, dealing with Durgar and 2 trolls, we ended that session by retreating back up to a small coal room where we barricaded ourselves in and decided to rest, which did not correspond to our plan. Our plan is, we're going to go in as fast as we can, deal with the problem, get the slaves out, go back to town and deal with these priests. And that's pretty much where we were at before our session on Saturday. Things were not going well.